Well, speaking about Joe, right? With you being from the Bronx and everything, what is your views on Fat Joe? Have you had personal experiences with him? Any interactions that were positive?
Yo, it's funny because you bringing up guys that I have personal situations with, or again, Fat Joe and I lived in the same building. I'm sure you've heard him mention 1000 Trinity Avenue in a few of his recordings. I lived on the seventh floor. Fat Joe and his family lived on the third floor. Yes, we lived in the same building. We've had situations where I had to put him in check. You know, I remember one time, like I told you earlier, my brother was living the life of LGBTQ. And I recall one day, Fat Joe and the Terror Squad and them, they was in front of the building, you know, lamping outside, chilling. And my brother
We're
was,
talking the Terror Squad street team, right? Not
yeah,
the group, not the rap group. Okay, got you.
we talking about whoever the Terror Squad is, that his group, his people, his mans, his homies, they was all in front of the building. His homies, his groupies. It wasn't no niggas putting up no flyers and promotion. This was his goon squad. Okay? So I lived in the front window. I lived on the seventh floor, and I'm seeing my brother coming inside the building. And I'm seeing that Joe and his squad is you know gesturing at my brother, you know, ooh, yo 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 yo, you know, making all kind of you know insinuations, and you know my brother's you know he's gay, he's ignoring it, and he comes in the building, and I was offended by that because they didn't know that was my brother. Number one, Fat Joe didn't know that that was my family. So I felt compelled to go downstairs and put a check on that shit. So that's exactly what I did. I grabbed the motherfucking hammer and I walked out the building and Joe was standing there by the chains and I walked right to him. I said, yo, check this out, bro. Peace, what's good? Yo, I want to clear something up with you. I said, you saw that person that just walked in the building? He said, who that chump? I said, yo, that's my brother. And he was like, oh. I said, that's my family, bro. And I was watching y'all from the window, intimidating them, antagonizing them. So what I want you to do for me, Joe, is let your mans in them know that's my people's, man. Don't do that again. Don't let your peoples in them know that's my family. And don't do that again. So they was looking at me talking to Joe, and they didn't know what was going on. You know, they was just watching to see how, you know, reading our body language and shit. But Joe threw up his hands and was like, yo, you got it. You got it. You got it, OG. And I never saw them do that again to my brother when he came in the building. And so that was like the first encounter of, you know, me having to put a check on Joe. Because when I first came from the penitentiary, he had that song, You Gotta Flow Joe out. And I had just came home from Attica. And
Wait, before we go into that though, right? Okay. So when you went up to him, you had the gun in hand already?
oh, no. They didn't know I was late. They didn't know I was holding. They didn't know that.
Oh, okay.
Nah, it wasn't like, and I didn't come out with the gun in this. No. I
Okay.
just knew that I had to go down there holding. I wasn't going down there without anything. You dig what I'm saying? Because if it got funky, it just gonna get funky. But I knew that I had to put a check on that because, you know, I saw how they treated, you know, my brother when he's coming in, and I didn't want him to keep on going through that bullshit. And I knew who they was, so, but they didn't know he was my family. So maybe, you know, I'm gonna put some clarity on this shit and see how that turned out. So that's what I did, man. I grabbed, you know, what I mean, I grabbed what I grabbed. I went down and I looked him in his face. I was like, yo, man, you saw that brother that just, and he caught it, he got it, and you know, he was shocked that that was my family. That's what fucked him up. And then I came to approach him like that. That threw him way the fuck off. But he accommodated my, you know, my inquisitions. You know, he threw his hands up, like I said, and said, no problem. And I never had a problem with that again.
So prior to that, did you guys have any like dialogue or prior like interactions with each other?
Well, you know, Joe, like I said, when I first came home from Attica, and I was sitting outside on the car and shit. He was coming in the building. He had that. He was just putting out that song of "You Gotta Flow, Joe. You Gotta Flow, Joe." He had that out, and I had just came home, so I had that mindset, but I was still nice, and he knew who I was. He knew I was Funkmaster Wizzy Wiz. And so we got in the elevator together and shit. We was riding up. He had to go to the third floor. I had to go to seventh. But in the meantime, I'm like, let me show this, because he was blowing up at that time. But I was like, it's nothing, man. I started banging on the elevator thing, the elevator thing while I'm spitting. And I'm thinking that that's going to make him spit. He didn't say nothing. Nigga got off the elevator like he was scared. Like, I ain't coming behind that shit. I'm like, I didn't understand that at first. I'm like, I'm thinking, oh shit, I'm in the elevator with you. I'm gonna get this nigga to spit. This nigga didn't say shit. This nigga didn't want to rhyme. This nigga wanted to get off the fucking elevator as quick as he could. And that's when I saw the funny shit. So I was like, all right, say less, man. This ain't gonna be one of those type of picnics. So, we never clicked up like that because, like I said, he had his clique. I was a solo dude. I was an OG. They was doing their things. So, it was never nothing past that right there. Until
Well, because
now when he made this.
the rumor is that King Son wrote Flojo.
Why did you mention that brother's name?
Wait. Before you get into him, okay? Before you get into that, okay? Because I know you got stories about everybody, okay? Before you get into that, in the
can't
comments.
believe you.
No, wait. In the comments, they're gonna be like, you mean to tell me Wiz went up to Joe and Joe just like let him press him like that and say all this stuff? They're gonna say that, right? Okay.
Yes.
So
let him say it. Because you don't know me. You understand? You don't know me. And I doubt if you know Fat Joe. I mean, besides what you see on social media, but have you ever met him? Have you ever sat down? Have you ever talked with him? Have you ever walked with him? If you ain't done none of those things, then you really can't have a comment about anything that you don't know nothing about. This shit really went down. This shit happened. Fat Joe will tell you if he's keeping it real. Yes, Funkmaster Wiz did come up to me one day when I was standing in front of 1,000 with my dudes. He did tell me that was his brother, gay guy that went in the building. He did tell me, yo, don't let him to check my boys and tell them, that's his family. He did do that. If he's keeping it real, he'll tell you that. Now, I'm on your show. So if I'm fronting, he's going to hear about it. He's going to say, yo, that nigga's lying. Or he's going to say, that motherfucker's too fucking real, man. I ain't even know the nigga was going to tell that story. Those are the two things he could say.
Because, people have known Joe to have this reputation or, from very early on that he was, with the TS team and they was really putting people in vans and they, he was nice with his knuckle game and everything. So the reputation is that like Joe wouldn't back down to somebody. So that's why I'm saying.
I'm going to say this to you. Sometimes all it is a reputation. Sometimes all it is a bunch of gossip. He say, she say talk. Sometimes because if you about that life, then, you shouldn't even be walking around with no freedom. If you that much of what you perpetrated to the public that you about that life, how did you get away with all of that? Come on now. It's like, if you rolling with 50 dudes, of course you tough. Of course you ain't backing down when you got 50, 60 dudes to get your back. You don't gotta fight. You don't gotta say shit. Your mans in them is gonna handle your business for you. But as far as Joe putting in work, I've never seen it. I've seen him talk like he put in work or sound like he's putting work or intimidate people like he's putting work. And maybe he has. I'm not saying he hasn't. But I'm just saying, a lot of this shit is like, a lot of us live on egos, man. And hype. Egos and hype is fucking sells. But nigga, where's the bodies at? Where's the bodies at? If you this motherfucking killer, I'm not saying You all aren't. I'm just saying, if I'm going to broadcast some shit, I'm going to show you receipts. I'm going to show you receipts what the funk say. I ain't seen no receipts. I seen you get ran out of New York. I seen you have to go live in Miami. I seen that. I seen your beef with Cuban Link. I heard about that shit with the cut and all that. I mean, I hear you most wanted in the Bronx. This is the word on the street. So all of this other stuff, or maybe it used to be that way, or maybe it's old news, or maybe it's the past, or maybe half of those guys that was putting in the work ain't even here no more. But as far as Fat Joe, that's all I know.
So
That's
how
all I know.
long did you live in the same building as him for?
Years, about, I'm talking about, I came home in 90. I'm talking about at least 7 years, 5.
So during that time, you never heard about him putting in work in the street or anything like that.
Like I said, it was all a reputation. I've never seen it. I've just seen a lot of guys, around him who will put in work. You see what I'm saying? I've seen a lot of guys around him that put some work in for him. But as far as him saying, step aside, I got this. That ain't what he's known for. That ain't what he's known for. And another thing, some people pick their fights. Some people know when to and when not to. I'm not saying I'm the hardest nigga in the world or the most gruelest motherfucker on the planet, but when I had my moment with Joe, when I had to check him about his goons antagonizing my brother when he's coming in the building, it was all good. He understood. He was a man of logic, and I didn't run down there with no gun out in his face, and I didn't have 25 niggas with me. I was by myself. But he still accommodated my wishes because I dressed him like a man. Now, if I would have came on some bullshit, some other dumb shit, it probably would have got stupid. But when you a man and you look at another man in his eyes, men recognize men. And he recognized that I wasn't a child and that I wasn't playing any games with this. And it didn't need to escalate. And I was good with that. I was good with that. Because I didn't want nothing to escalate because, I got to live here. My mom's lived there. His mom lived there. Shit like that. So, but I did have to get my respect and have to let them know that's my family right there. So now you know.
Right.